you'll be able to read anyone in just 60 seconds. Watch it till the end. You already know more than you think. You felt it before. You walk into a room, someone smiles at you, says the right words, and yet something feels wrong. You can't name it, but you feel it. That feeling is not paranoia. It is perception. And most people have never been taught how to use it. Today, we are going to fix that. In 1967, psychologist Albert Mehrabian published a study that changed how the world thought about communication. And what did he find? When someone expresses feelings or attitude, 55% is body language, 38% is tone of voice, only 7% is the actual words. Now, this number has been misquoted for decades. Mehrabian himself said it only applies to emotional communication, not all conversations. But the core insight remains. Words are the last layer. Everything underneath, the body, the breath, the posture, those are the first draft. People edit their words, they rehearse their stories, they choose what to say. But the body responds before the mind catches up. A Ronin knows this. The samurai code of Bushido valued something called Fudoshin, the immovable mind, the ability to stay still, observe, and see clearly while others react. That is what we are building today. Not tricks to manipulate people, a skill to understand them. Let's start with the most honest part of the human body, not the face, the feet. We spent years learning to control our expressions. We practice smiles, we rehearse eye contact, we know when to nod, when to look concerned, but nobody teaches us to control our feet. Research from body language expert John Navarro, a former FBI agent who spent 25 years reading people, shows that the feet and legs are the least consciously managed part of the human body. When someone genuinely wants to be in a conversation with you, if they are standing, their feet will point toward you, not their head, their feet, because the body follows intention. When someone wants to leave, one foot will quietly rotate toward the exit. The head stays with you. The smile stays, but one foot is already gone. Bouncing, crossing, and uncrossing, signs of discomfort. Stillness, signs of comfort or focus. Now let's talk about the face. Specifically, how to tell a real emotion from a performed one. Dr. Paul Ekman spent decades studying what he called micro-expressions, tiny, involuntary facial movements that appear and disappear in under a quarter of a second. They cannot be faked, or more precisely, they are extremely difficult to suppress. The famous example, genuine smile. In 1862, French neurologist Guillaume Duchenne discovered that a real smile activates two muscle groups, the zygomatic major, which pulls up the corners of the mouth, and the orbicularis oculi, which creates small wrinkles around the outer corners of the eyes. You can force the mouth to smile. You cannot easily force the eyes muscle. It's partially involuntary. So when someone smiles at you, and the corners of their eyes don't crinkle. That is a social smile. It is not dishonestly necessarily, it is distance. When the nervous system feels threatened, it activates stress responses, and then the body tries to calm itself down. This is called self-pacification. The most common area, the neck, specifically the suprasternal notch, the soft hollow at the base of the throat. When people feel deeply anxious or insecure, they will unconsciously touch this area. It stimulates the vagus nerve. It slows the heart rate. The body is trying to self-regulate. Other common pacifiers: rubbing the arms, stroking the hair, exhaling slowly through pursed lips, pressing the lips together tightly. These behaviors don't tell you what a person is thinking. They tell you that their nervous system is working harder than normal. Here is where most people make the mistake. They learn one signal and they use it to judge. They see crossed arms, he is defensive. They see someone looking away, she is lying. They see a leg bounce, he is nervous about something. This is the most dangerous way to use this knowledge. Joe Navarro calls it the baseline problem. Before you can read the deviation, you need to know the baseline. What is normal for this person? Some people cross their arms because they are cold. Some people avoid eye contact because of cultural norms, not deception. In many East Asian and African cultures, direct eye contact with an authority figure is disrespectful, not a sign of dishonesty. Some people touch their neck constantly. It's a habit, not stress. The skill is not collecting single data points. The skill is noticing clusters and deviations from baseline. A cluster means 3 or more signals that appear together in response to a specific stimulus that are out of character for this person. That is when the body is telling a story. Bushido teaches a principle called Zanshin, a state of relaxed awareness, not tense vigilance, not paranoid scanning. A calm, open attention that catches everything without grasping for anything. The samurai who enters a room scanning for threat is already compromised because tension narrows perception. The samurai who enters with stillness sees the whole room. This is the mindset for reading people, not suspicion, curiosity. When you see someone self-pacifying, your first thought should not be, what are they hiding? Your first thought should be, what are they afraid of? Those are very different questions. The first makes you a judge. The second makes you a human being. Let me be honest with you about the limits of this skill. Body language reading is not a lie detector. It has never been accepted as evidence in any serious court. Even trained professionals, FBI agents, police detectives, perform only slightly better than chance when tested on detecting deception through non-verbal cues alone. The research is clear on this. No single gesture means anything on its own. Context always matters more than the signal. An anxious person is not a dishonest person. A person who avoids eye contact is not a liar. A person who touches their neck might just be warm. There are also individual differences that break every rule. People with autism often show atypical nonverbal patterns. People with anxiety disorders specify constantly. People from different cultures have different baselines for everything. So, what is this skill actually good for? It's good for one thing: noticing that something has shifted. You've been talking to someone for 20 minutes and suddenly they cross their arms, look toward the door, and give you a one-word answer. You don't know why, but you know something changed. And that's enough to ask a different question, to slow down, to listen differently. That is the real skill. Not reading minds, noticing moments. This week, try one exercise. Just one. Pick one conversation. A meeting, a lunch, a phone call. Anything where you can observe someone for at least 10 minutes. At the start, do nothing special. Just pay attention to their baseline. How do they normally hold their arms? Do they make eye contact naturally? Or do they look away often? Do they move their hands when they speak? Is their jaw relaxed or tight? So, give yourself 5 minutes just to observe. No conclusions, just data. Then, watch for deviations. Moments when something changes. A shift in posture, a change in energy, a hand that moves to the face or neck. Don't interpret it, just mark the moment. After the conversation, write down 3 observations. Do not make any conclusions, just observations. When I mentioned the deadline, he looked toward the door, for example, or when she talked about her team, her voice got quieter. Or another one, when I asked about the plan, he touched the back of his neck. So do this for 2 weeks. You will be surprised how much you were already seeing, but not registering. The Ronin's edge is not supernatural perception. It is the discipline to notice what is already there. The ancient samurai had a saying, "The sword is the mind. When the mind is right, the sword is right." You don't need the sword to apply this. You need stillness. The stillness to watch before you speak. The stillness to feel the room before you try to control it. The stillness to see the fear behind the aggression, the loneliness behind the performance, the need behind the anger. When you develop that stillness, people become less threatening because you stop reacting to the surface and start seeing what's underneath. Be a mirror, not a weapon. If this changed something for you, leave a comment below. Tell me, what's the one place in your life where you wish you could read people better? I read every comment, and the best answers shape future videos. Subscribe if you haven't already. Every week, one idea, one principle. So, ancient wisdom, modern psychology. Just one Ronin. See you next time.